The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's hosts, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it will be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good afternoon and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is David Rodgers with On the Spot with David Rodgers. I am your host and creator. Also, Mr. Byron Bagwell will not be with us tonight as he's feeling just a little bit under the weather. But I do have the dancing destroyer himself, Super Dave Holland. He's in the South, in the South. You're in the South, David, but you're in the house.
I'm in the South, in the house.
In the house. So say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Dave's back there doing a little crunching, but that's okay. We're going to get some thoughts and some of his opinions on some of the subjects we'll be talking about tonight. In the house with us tonight is none other than the weather guru himself. He owns and he's created Austin's Weather Service. Austin Stevens in the house, man. I can't talk tonight, David.
Man.
What is going on?
Are you good?
I don't know. I'm fixing to find out if I am.
You're stuck in the South.
I'm stuck in the South. Say hello to everybody, Austin.
At least it's sunny in the southeast. I don't know about the whole South, but it's sunny everywhere, basically. Now it's wearing off on me. But hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Good to have you along. And, of course, don't forget, On the Spot Motorsports Media. My goodness, David, I am tongue-tied tonight. With Mitchell Gunner, host of that show. That show comes on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. He's got a great guest that's coming up week, David, him and Robert, his co-host. They've got Madison Payne coming on Thursday night. So make sure you tune in to On the Spot Motorsports Media with Mitchell Gunner and Robert as they bring you live a great interview with Madison Payne. She's an NHRA driver. And, of course, Mitchell always doing a good job with that page. That page is growing immensely. If you've seen last week, he was out there live streaming the races as he raced as well. So got a lot of views on that, Dave. I don't know if you went and checked that out, but had a lot of great views on that. So make sure you tune in to On the Spot Motorsports Media page.
Interview.
Yeah, and we got a lot of things coming up. This is race season right now, coming up here within the next month, all the way through the summer and into the fall. And he'll be covering a lot of great races and a lot of great things. Also, some people ask me, how can we get a hold of you, David Rodgers, David Holland, Byron Bagwell, Austin Stevens? Well, I'm fixing to tell you. So, what you can do, look at, as we just talked about that, look what pops up right here on the bottom of the screen. You can email us at onthespot32091 at gmail.com. That's onthespot32091 at gmail.com. You can email us about anything, upcoming events, things that you have going on, subjects that you would like for us to talk about. Anything and everything, you can hit us there. Also, personally, you can text me. My number is 904-966-1633. You can text message me, or you can type it in Messenger, and you can hit us on Facebook as well. So any of those avenues, you can definitely get a hold of us. Austin, real quick before you give the weather and I get into everything, how can they get a hold of you for weather updates and things like that?
So you can go through facebook.com/Austin's Weather Service, all one word. There's contact info on the page. You can call our VYP line. That will get in contact with some of the people here on the spot with David Rodgers, but also me directly. The other way is through Facebook Messenger on the page, which the page is about to comment anyways.
Good. And, of course, you're watching the show live. You can go back and watch it on Facebook afterwards if you're not watching us live. But tomorrow night, by 7 o'clock, generally, if Austin Stevens is everything is working right and properly, he will have the show uploaded on YouTube with a title. Hey, with a title for you, whatever that show may be. And Austin Stevens will have that uploaded on YouTube by 7 p.m.
And it'll be this is episode 295.
Episode 295. So we've been doing this for a long time. We were doing it twice a week there when we begun, David, remember? Yeah. Then we backed off because some things and some of the issues and some of the things that we have going on. So we backed off to one night a week. That is a lot of episodes, David, for a 4 or 5 year period. What are we in now? Our 5th year or 6th year?
We're in the 6th year. September 18th will be our 7th.
7th. So 6 full on September 18th.
Yep, 18.
18. So we are glad that y'all are watching us and keeping up with us. Sometimes we take a little bit of a hiatus. Like I said, we have things going on and things happening. So we still want you to tune in. Go back and watch some of those old episodes, David. We've had some great shows in the past, and you can catch it on Facebook or YouTube. You can tell them, David, there's been some wonderful shows.
Oh, some great shows. One thing is you want to really hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, there you go, David. Why don't you talk about that a minute?
Hit that subscribe button, and every week you'll get pinged.
Yep.
And notice that the show is getting ready to start. So hit that subscribe button, share, and like it.
And that's exactly right. And believe it or not, our sister page is on the Spot Motorsports Media with Mitchell Gunner.
Yep.
So once they do that, it'll link both. Yes. You'll get pinged when both shows come on.
And folks, what that does is that helps us build our viewing base.
Absolutely.
And the bigger we get, the better it's going to be for you and us.
Right, and we're going to be able to bring bigger shows, the things that y'all want to hear and that you want to see. And we've got some things working in the background too that's going to come into play this year, into next year. So we got some bigger and better things with On the Spot with David Rodgers. So glad that y'all could be on. Real quick, let me just say hello to a few people. Dwight Allen, hello, sir. Glad that you can join us. And good evening to you, my fellow patriot. Mark Goody's on. Hello, Mark. Austin Stevens is on. Do you know him? Maybe. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Shirley Bagwell is watching. Byron Bagwell is watching from the house. He says, good evening, brothers, sisters, patriots, infidels, and miscreants. Dave Holland Jr. says, what's up, guys? Shirley Bagwell says, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, you, brother. Robert McGee, good evening to you. Johnny Waterson's watching. You know, I was thinking about Johnny the other day. Johnny, I'm going to put us out there a minute. Boy, I'll tell you what, 2 of the best bike shows that I've ever been to, happened right here in Stark. And guess what? Johnny was the coordinator of those. I did participate. So did you, David. We all did some things there.
I had a great time.
Oh, man, let me tell you what. We had the wrestling and the bands that were there, Molly Hatch and Blackfoot, and Charlie Daniels on that second one. Great time there. I hope Johnny, I've been talking to Johnny, man. Maybe we, with On the Spot and everybody else, maybe we can recreate, David, that bike fest, those 2 bike fests that we did there, the first 2, until the city took it over. And of course, they they moved it from the fairgrounds to downtown, and y'all know the history of that. But anyway, hey, glad that you're on, Johnny, for sure. Let's see. Melissa Cribbs, hello. Sam Allstott, hello. Jeff Riggins, sorry, man, I didn't get a chance to call you back. Been a little bit busy. I miss you at work, brother, but I'm glad you're tuning in to the show. Hey there, brother. What about the military taking people with no high school diploma and felons? Sounds like draft day. We'll get into that, David. Absolutely. James and Heather Thrash is on. Looking slim and fit. What's your secret? Okay, well, now that you asked, it's nothing that I wanted to do, I assure you. At least mandated. Let's put it that way. So back in August, Mark, I was diagnosed with diabetes. So I've been on diabetes medicine. Since then, I'm on lisinopril for my blood pressure, Simavestin, metformin, fish oil, all that thing there. Since August, I have dropped 50 pounds, and I've told you that. I weighed at my heaviest, David, 272 pounds. Y'all see me, I was really bloated. Everything, I was lethargic. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't focus. Started taking that medicine. Man, it just cleaned out my system.
Wow.
And believe it or not, I'm going to tell you another little secret. Y'all going to think I'm crazy. But I've been drinking Celsius. I drink 2 Celsius a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. This particular drink right here contains no taurine. That means that caffeine full effect. So it's all pretty much natural. And I drink these 2 times a day, and it has slimmed me down as well, and it's keeping me slim. I've heard a lot of people say, and if you look on the shelf in any store, these things fly off the shelf.
Wow.
So I'm going to start ordering mine from Amazon. Rudy, Autumn's boyfriend, orders these as well. He believes in it. So it's doing something. I have not been working out in the gym. Me and Shelly have talked about trying to get a family deal with the gym here, the fitness center here, and Anytime Fitness, and going in there and working out. I've been doing a few push-ups and sit-ups and stuff. Somebody commented about my arms today. If I was in the gym, definitely get more beefed up. But in the meantime, that's what I'm doing. So that's the secret. Didn't want it to happen that way, Dave, but it did. It did. Yes, my hat. This was a Christmas gift. David, if you want to hold this up to the camera. This was a Christmas gift for my daughter. Somebody had asked about that. On the spot with David Rodgers right there, OTS. We're going to, me and Dave's been talking about some things. We're going to make some shirts, some hats, and things like that. We're going to have a merchandising area, so you'll be able to order things like that. And David, guess what? This is unique. This is going to be unique because we're regional, and we're local first, and then regional. So not too many people outside of this area or the state will have any of this. So this will be a collector's item. But Autumn had this made for me. I really love it. On the spot with David Rodgers. And like I said, merchandising is coming. So here we go. Hello, Melissa Cribbs. And Shirley said, that's a good question. And we'll get into that. Randy Brooks is on. Dave Holland's on. Yeah, I imagine he is. I opened for Molly Hatchet Blackfoot at the fairgrounds several years back, and Johnny Van Zant. Mark Goody, I remember that, I do believe. Thank you, David Holland Jr. I feel better. I'm more focused at work and the different things that I do, and I just feel really good. I can move. Let's see. Nobody like us. That's exactly right, B. And I wish you were in house tonight, but I understand. Hey, if you're sick, what do we talk about? Stay home. Yeah, that's, we don't want to spread it to anybody. No, we don't know what, it could be anything, but we definitely don't want to spread it to anybody. Cindy Body's watching. Good to see you. Thank you, Cindy. We appreciate it. Back, second show of the year. Took a little bit of a hiatus. All of us had some things working and going on, but we're just glad to be back in the seat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're at home, if you'll please take off your hat or whatever you're wearing on top of your head, let's show respect for the prayer and the pledge, and I'll lead us in prayer. Please bow your heads, ladies and gentlemen. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time that we can be together, our brotherhood, the OTS, the On the Spot with David Rodgers page, and also the On the Spot Motorsports Media page. We've got brothers and sisters that work both of these pages. Keep blessing us, dear Lord. Put your hand on us and guide us, dear Lord, in the right way. Any information that we give out, dear Lord, that we see fit to deliver it to our audience, and our audience make that determination on what they would like to do with that information, dear Lord. Thank you for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today, the most powerful country, the most independent country in the world today, dear Lord. Yes, that's the United States of America. Put your hedge of protection over us, your guiding hand. Anything that you can do, dear Lord, as we need our world leaders, our government leaders, to ensure themselves that they're doing the right thing for the people of this great country. When you do the right thing for the people of this great country, it filters down, dear Lord, and it filters to the state level, to the county level, and to the city level, dear Lord. So please guide all those politicians and let them do the right thing, because sometimes they don't, dear Lord. And this is where you can come in and just touch them and say, hey, this is the right thing. Thank you for our military, all those men and women that are serving in our armed forces today, each and every one of them, whether they're abroad or whether they're here in the States, dear Lord. Keep a hedge of protection over them and return them home safely to their families as we rotate people in and out, dear Lord, our military in and out to these different places that we need to be at, dear Lord, so we can watch and see what's going on in the world so it doesn't affect us here in the United States. Thank you for our first responders, each and every one of those men and women, dear Lord, that go out there and put their lives on the line each and every day. From our police department to our firefighters to our EMS and anybody else that's involved, that's a first responder, please keep a hedge of protection over them and give them a guiding hand as well and return them safely to their families, because they allow us, dear Lord, to return home each and every day and each and every night, knowing that we're going to be safe in our place of abode. Thank you again for our frontline workers, dear Lord, everybody that makes America spin, grow, and that is our truck drivers, our railroad workers, anybody that works with a ship that brings product into this and take product out. Anybody that, like I said, in the steel industry, anything like that, dear Lord, please just guide them. Put your hand on them, dear Lord. Put your hand on these companies, and let's make America thrive again. The food that we receive each and every day, dear Lord, that it goes to the blessing, to our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Any spoken or unspoken prayer requests, dear Lord, please touch each and every one of them. We don't know what's going on, dear Lord, with each and every one, but you do, and they're going to ask you for help, dear Lord, and just put your touch on them, dear Lord, and guide them in the right way. Again, thank you for a great night. Thank you for a great week that we've got upcoming and a great weekend. Please keep everybody safe, dear Lord, as they're on their way to work, family events, whatever that may be, dear Lord. And we ask for all these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation said, Amen. 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 All right. We're going to do the pledge. Who did who started last time? You did, Austin, or did David?
I did.
You did. Okay. How about you, Austin? Let's let you start that right here as we bring up the beautiful red, white, and blue on the screen. Austin, lead us on, sir.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You can be seated.
In the South.
In the South. That's right, yeah. Those S's wasn't coming out right, David. You know what I mean? Even in the prayer, I think God, when he was touching me to say that prayer, he said, David, your S's are slipping in the South. You think?
Uh-oh, that's a disaster.
Yeah, but you know what? With God's touching hand, he can fix anything. I've known it. I've seen it. You know, just real quick, and I don't want to get off subject. But, when you ask God for help and you're doing the right things the right way and you're doing the things in a godly way, he rewards you, whether it's monetary, whether it's health-wise, anything like that. Yeah. I've seen miracles happen. I know a guy that had cancer, big time, lung cancer. Guess what? He's still alive. He's 82. Wow. He was diagnosed when he was 60. And they did everything they could, medically wise, and he just kept praying to God, praying to God, praying to God.
Amen.
Cured him. So I believe in the power of God. Do I go to church each and every Sunday? No. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not a godly man or try to be a godly man. Hey, I mess up every day of the week. I mess up before we came to this show. We're not perfect. But if you know who your Lord and Savior is and you ask for forgiveness, it'll come to you.
Well, you go to church to fellowship with those that are in church.
Mm-hmm.
You fellowship on the street when you're talking to individuals every day, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we try to do that. And, the book says where two or more are gathered, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's a church service. where two or more are gathered. So, if you're preaching it and they're preaching it and y'all are talking about it, that's like having a church service. So, yeah, I agree with that. So, and Dave Holland says, you're right, David. Church won't get you to heaven. You've got to do the other things that within the book, what it says for you to do, and that's what gets you to heaven. And that's exactly right. The church is just a place of sanctuary where you can go with other fellow believers and preach and talk the Word of God and get God filled in you. So, yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. So, Raymond, no, Jeff Riggins, thank you very much. Jimmy Krause's watching. You know where Jimmy's at? In the Bahamas. Jimmy, what's the weather like in the Bahamas? I'd like to know. Donnie Thornton. Say what?
I heard it's beautiful.
I'll bet. Ray No is watching. Hey, Ray, glad to have you back, sir. Thank you, Dwight Allen and Dave Holland Jr. and Byron Bagwell. There's only one way for that, and that's exactly right. God has been more than once there for our family, Shirley Bagwell says. Absolutely. Been for mine, too. Man, I've been through some struggles, Dave. My gosh. Like I said, I'm no saint. I'm not perfect. You know what? Probably after this show, maybe in during this show, I'm going to sin. So are you, so are you, so are you, and everybody that's watching. But guess what?
Yeah.
If you pray and ask for forgiveness, the good man upstairs, through Jesus Christ, is going to bless you, and he's going to wash those sins away. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get into a religious thing here because we've got other things that we need to talk about, but it's just one of those things that just, with that prayer has come to me.
Me and my son sit around all the time and talk about what the book says, how it's read, understanding what it is saying.
Yeah.
And I got to say, my son is very knowledgeable.
He is.
On
I've
the
heard
book.
him. Yeah, he is.
And I love it when we get together and talk. He teaches me so much.
You know what he just said right here? That prayer and everything that we just talked about, he says we're having church right now.
Yeah.
And we are. There is 14 to 15 people live right now, and we just had a church service.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how that works? And, David Holland, you're exactly right. Junior, should I say, you're right. Anthony Black out of Tallahassee. That's why you got to get the weather over in Tallahassee. He says, hello, guys. Anthony's going through a couple of things. I hope things get better for him. He may have to have a surgery. So he was going to let me know tomorrow once he goes to his doctor's appointment. But, hey, Anthony, glad to have you on. All right, here we go. Let's get rolling. Let's go to the quote of the night. Here it is. You try to guess. I'll give you some hints. This came from my brother, Byron Bagwell. He sent it to me. So I know the answer. I probably would have got it anyway. Listen to me brag a little bit. We'll see.
Aww,
History has shown us time and again that what is right is not what is popular. History has shown us time and again that what is right is not what is popular. I'll give you a hint. He is a prime minister of a country today. I'll give you that.
Could you read that again?
Sure I can. History has shown us time and again that what is right is not what is popular. He is a prime minister of a world country today. Byron, you can't answer. Liz Turley Holland says hello. She's watching. Yes, sir. Any guess? Any guess out there? Besides Byron and myself.
I'm not sure of their name.
Okay.
The Prime Minister of London?
Or the Prime Minister of England?
UK?
Okay. The UK? Okay, that's a great guess. You want to go with that one?
I don't know. That's a dicey one.
That's a dicey one. All right. I like Liz Tillery Holland's answer. She said Albert Einstein, but he wasn't a prime minister. He's a prime minister today in a world country. Jeff Goins is watching. He's from Vidalia, Georgia. Hello, Jeff. Great to have you along.
Yeah.
That's a great guess, though, David. You got a great guess. Yep, he said hello from Vidalia, Georgia, and I knew that. He hadn't been on a little bit, but he's on tonight with us. As we got a couple of subjects that I want to get into. We're going to get into some local things, but I want to start a subject on what is going on in the world today as y'all are trying to take a guess. You know, there's different things going on in the world today, David. Not only within our city and county, which, by the way, if you watched last week's show, you know what we talked about. We had Sheriff Gordon Smith on, and we talked about the disbanding of the Stark Police Department. It went to a vote with the mayor and the city commissioners, and I think it was 4-1 that they disband the Stark Police Department. Chief Johnson, somebody asked me, what about your police chief? Well, our police chief's going to remain where he's at. He's going to be the chief of police because there is a bylaw in some of the laws that are within our city, and he will remain the chief of police at least for this term. And then I don't know if they're going to rewrite those bylaws, David, or not, and figure out what they're going to do there. But you heard Sheriff Gordon Smith, and I encourage you, by the way, to go back and watch that show.
Absolutely.
That show was awesome. He gave out a lot of information. Hey, we had a lot of people come in, and I want to thank you, guests, for this. And I didn't get a chance to tell Dave. All your comments were tasteful. There was not really one bad comment. No. There was a couple of things that I get that they needed to be answered, and it came off a little, but for the most part, everything was in taste.
Yes.
And yes. Gordon answered everything that I thought that he could answer, and more, David.
Absolutely, yeah. He did a great job on the answer and question part of the show.
So, yeah, he did. So, go back and watch that, but that wasn't a popular decision with the residents of Stark. Let's call it what it is. It came down to economics. It came down to money. It did, and most things do. And I preface this last week when we was on the show, and before we got to talking to Gordon, I said, look, this just ain't happening here. This happens in small town America everywhere, and even in big city America it happens. You don't think there's votes going on right now? Before that show, I told Gordon, I seen something from Virginia. Can't remember the town. They was doing the same thing. They had a police department and a sheriff's department. Well, the EMS and the fire was under the sheriff already, but the police department was not. And they were talking about budget, small, about the same size we are. And they was having the same conversation. So this is just not relegated to Bradford County and to Stark. This happens everywhere. And David, times are tough. It's hard to come across money, and it's hard to keep things funded. And sometimes you have to, and I'm not saying here that it's right or wrong, but, you know, they had to make a decision that's going to be popular with some people, and it's not going to be popular with others.
Well, I'm thinking, and this is just my opinion, but the popular or not popular isn't as much to me, or I think a lot of people, as they felt like they should have got to vote.
Yeah.
You know, our community, the citizens that live here, they felt like they should have gotten a vote in there, but that's not how it works.
That's not how it works. That's why you have a city commission, that commissioners that you, the people, vote for.
That's right? That's right.
And now the mayor is rotated within the commissioners, so it's not an elected position here.
No.
But the city commissioners are. And that, like you said, David, you bring up a good point. That's not how it works. Hey, they voted. That's what they came up with. Now the sheriff has to figure out how he can entertain and bring those people in and keep them here. And he also said the people that is not going to get a job here, He's going to try to help them find a job somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Whether it's Clay, whether it's Alachua, whether it's Union, whether it's Duval, he's going to try to help them find a job so they're not displaced. You said it last week. These people's got families. They've got kids. They've got bills to pay too, and they need their job as well. You know, so
Absolutely.
Gordon really did a good job in really talking about that, and really, I was full of information. There were some things I didn't know. You know, as far as the millage and things like that, I knew it, but I didn't know what exactly it was, and he really broke it down and explained it, Dave. I don't know what else to say about that. So, what do you think? I thought he did a good job.
Well, I think he explained it very well, and what it really does boil down to is the money.
It does, and that's what it boiled down to.
Are we spending too much for what we got, or we need to save more than we can?
Well, and that's exactly right. You know, you're talking about every time something comes down like this, generally, it falls back on the taxpayers in some sort of form. A gas tax, a land tax, increases your land taxes. Let's tax this and tax that. The problem is when you think about America today and the American people and what we're going through with inflation going through the roof, the things that are going on, not within the United States, but around the world. That all affects us. Believe it or not, people are going to say, that affects what happens here because it all filters down. Byron has said that before.
Yeah.
You know, it all filters down to what happens here. And unfortunately, you can't keep taxing not only the American citizens to death, you can't keep taxing Bradford County residents to death. We've got people on limited incomes. Do you know what the average hourly wage is here? Can anybody here tell me what the hourly wage is here?
It's about $14 an hour.
Well, because of now the minimum wage going up. But at one time, 2 or 3 years ago, it was $10 an hour. It's actually $9.75 an hour. That's what the average resident of Bradford County, people that worked in START, it was.
Yeah.
Now it's bumped up a little bit. But then you got elderly people that are on limited incomes. You've got disability people on limited incomes. You've got veterans on, limited incomes. What do? You're going to keep taxing them to death? Pretty soon they're not going to be able to eat. That is wrong. That is wrong. I don't care how you slice it and dice that.
My property taxes went up.
So then there you go. And
$200.
yeah. Why? Why?
Well,
Because somebody needs some money, right?
Of course, because
And it wasn't
people
just
living
you. It wasn't just you. It was the residents around you. Everybody's property tax went up because these municipalities and these counties need more money to run their budget on.
Yep.
Yeah, and to build more infrastructure for the added capacity of people that are moving to the Northeast Florida region.
Which building more infrastructure is going to create more taxes.
Correct. Yeah. It'll
Never-ending
create.
story.
It'll create jobs. Yes.
Yes.
I hated what happened, and we didn't get into it last week too much. I think I barely mentioned it. I hated what happened at West Fraser in Maxville.
Oh yeah.
84 people just lost their job 2 weeks ago. Where right now in Bradford County are those 84 people going to go to work? Yes, you can go to the correctional facility. You can become a correctional officer. But if you're used to making this wage, I understand you got to do what you got to do. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, where are they going to go with the trade that they know? Where are they going to go within this county? There is nothing. There is nothing major here. So they're going to have to go outside the realm, right? They're going to have to go to Jacksonville. They're going to have to go to Gainesville. They're going to go to Ocala. They're going to have to go to Lake City. I drive to Lake City every day, every morning to go to work. Why? Because I've got a good paying job and I want to keep it. I've got mouths to feed. I've got housing. I've got electricity. So do you. So does Austin. So does Cheryl. So does Byron. So is everybody watching here. So, we have to figure out a way, like you said, to keep the budget balanced, not only in the city, in the county, and the region, and the state, wherever. We need to figure that out, because you cannot keep asking the American people to keep bailing you out. Let's just call it bailing out all these entities and municipalities and things like that. It just ain't going to happen. All right, I want to get to let me get to a couple of questions here. Again, welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I am your host, David Rodgers, right along with the Dancing Destroyer himself, Super Dave Holland. Next week, I've been promising this, Dave is going to show you how to do the Cupid Shuffle. I promise you. I promise you. Man, he's going to do the Cupid Shuffle right here in front of you. I'm going to work it with him. So is Byron. Austin's going to join us too.
No.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. If you want to give the weather, but you're going to join us, Austin. So Austin's going to join us.
Connie Phil is going to see a shadow on Friday.
Well, I'll let you talk about that in a minute. You're trying to get off the subject.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course you're trying to get off the subject. Anyway, I'm going to let Austin go ahead and do his weather, and then we'll get into a couple things. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for our weather segment with Austin Stevens.
Find Austin's Weather Service on Facebook and have a detailed local forecast sent right to you.
All right. Well, David, how'd you like that frost? Did you get any today?
No.
Oh, well, I know there was some frost predicted. But however, we did go into the upper 30s, the lower 40s this morning, but we turned out to a beautiful afternoon, the mid to upper 60s. It was gorgeous. Well, I got good news. That weather in our area will continue. However, a low pressure system will develop in Texas and move into the Gulf of Mexico, bringing possible severe weather to the Gulf Coast. I'm looking at you, Pascagoula, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, Tallahassee, Florida.
Wow.
This weekend, better watch out. No, you're not out of the woods, Tampa. Don't think about it. You're not out either, Miami. It's all going to come across Florida Sunday afternoon like a low-end tropical storm and give us some good rain before our dry season kicks in. Now, I want to talk about long-term. A El Nino weather pattern is changing drastically like it did in 2016 to a La Nina weather pattern, which is, unfortunately, let's knock on wood and hope it don't happen, but an intake in hurricanes is possible this year.
All right. Well, you just heard it right there from Austin Stevens. We'll get that weather report back to you here toward the end of the show. Go ahead.
What do you think the groundhog's going to do?
I don't know what the groundhog's going to do. You tell me.
Do you think he's going to see a shadow?
He may.
He may?
He may.
Are you asking for 6 more weeks of winter?
No. But I said he may.
All right.
No, I don't need no more of that. 7:49 Eastern Time, On the Spot with David Rodgers. David Rodgers hosting tonight. No Byron Bagwell. Dave Holland is in the house tonight. So is Austin Stevens. You just heard from him. Just wanted to give you a couple of news and notes and updates. We have Fun Point Trivia tomorrow night at 7 o'clock with Michael Heater. He is the trivia host there at Fun Point. So if you want to go play trivia and you can't make it on Thursdays, please go ahead and go out there and enjoy that trivia. He does a good job over there. So thank you, Michael, for what you do there. If you can't make it on Wednesday, make sure you make it on Thursdays over at the Downtown Grill. I am your host there, trivia host each and every Thursday night. We start at 7:30. Come in there and enjoy a good meal. Hey, they got a great bar up there. Get your favorite beverage. If you want a Coke, water, whatever it is, hey, make sure you do that. They've got some good desserts. So come on out and with me, David Rodgers, and of course our trivia teams. We've got our steady trivia teams that come out, but if you're a new trivia team, we want you to come out and enjoy trivia night on Thursday nights at 7:30 at the Downtown Grill, and I'll have more posts about that on Facebook as that comes. All right, let's talk about our quote. That quote is from the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, however you pronounce his name. BB is what I call him. So anybody that said that, you are good. Byron Bagwell said. Shirley said, don't know if Australia, but that sounds like her. Billy Rayberg's watching. By the way, I've got something from Billy Rayberg. So here we go. I don't know if he's on his meds, but we'll see. Merritt, Rayberg, and Hilliard, Lauren, and James Todd's little boy, they're going to Popeye's Chicken. That's what they wanted to go for his 5th birthday. Jessica, you know that model Atlas Soccer. There is country he's at. Okay. All right. And Merrick's 5th birthday, which was yesterday, and his big brother Maddox's birthday is today, and that's Lauren's boys. That's Billy Rayberg, who tunes in pretty much every Tuesday. And by the way, I do want to talk about something before we move on to our major subject. Let's see here. Can you read the question again? I'm in the kitchen cooking. Sorry, I gave the answer, Liz. You asked who said it, but by the answers people are giving, I may have heard the question wrong. Scott Munnings is on. Scott usually helps us out with the 4th of July bash with Michael Heater, throws that. So, Scott, glad to have you along. Question of the day. When will Walmart, Winn-Dixie, Kangaroo, etc. send me my tax docs doing the job of their employees sent through the self-checkout? Oh, boy. Hey, here we go again. D.A. Dennis Cruz. He's always got something to say. Hey, you may want to get with the manager of Walmart and see if you can get that tax credit for yourself before you send in your taxes. Amberly Lynn Fugit is watching. Anthony Black's back watching. History has shown us time and again that what is right is not what is popular. Byron Reed did that. Becky Dugan is watching. Ken Branch. Hey, Kenny Branch, let me tell you a little story. Ken Branch, me and him were good buddies back in high school. He lives, I think he lives in, I'm not sure if he still lives in Mississippi or not, but he was my classmate. As we say hello, he says hello every once in a while. Ken Branch, I'm glad you're tuning in, man. Hey, just having a good time here in good old Stark, Florida. I don't know if you knew that's where I was at. I'm sure because I think all my friends, David, follow tornado football.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, especially the last 2 years, 27-3, a state championship game.
Yeah.
Hey, so I know they follow. So hello, Ken, to you and your family and your wife. Brenda Seeley's watching. Jeff Goins said Israel. Absolutely right. Byron Bagwell, I thought he was asking who said it. I remember seeing the quote years ago, and it stuck. A lot of people today, Billy Rayberg said, that is moving in this county has got a champagne taste on a beer budget. We can't afford a lot of this, and I'm glad they took it over, and let's start looking forward to working with Pumpkin and everybody else. Well, absolutely, and I think that's what we were saying. But the problem is, Billy, is you have residents, and you've even told me this yourself, we have residents in this county that have been here a long time. Longtime residents of Bradford County, Stark, surrounding areas. And they are rooted here. They're not going anywhere. They're retiring here, David.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the people that I'm concerned about is that. I understand the people moving in here. You're right. They have champagne taste on a beer budget. But that's in every city or in any state that you go to. We all have the same problems, David. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just unfortunate that we happen to talk about ours because we're here, we live here, and this is our show, and this is how we rooted our show. Starts from local, works to county, works to the state level, works to the region, and then works to the U.S. and world. And that's where Byron Bagwell comes in, because Byron Bagwell is very knowledgeable when it comes to world politics, world things going on, things in the U.S. politics-wise, and that's why Byron Bagwell is on this show. Mitchell Gunner used to be our local guru, but we found a niche for Mitchell. Yeah. Mitchell knows racing. If you want to know anything about racing, just call Mitchell up or hit him up on his page because he'll tell you about it. He knows it, brother. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, tax to keep the illegals.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'll get started on that here in a minute because it's all going to tie in. Sad but true. The average person spends over 50% of their annual salary on taxes. This is coming from Byron. This issue is how do we want our governments to function? Do we want the government to do more or less for us? Personally, I'll take less, and Byron's got a point in on that. Absolutely, Byron. I agree with you. I know. I'm gonna ask, I know you're a business owner today, but I'm going to ask the first question. You don't have to answer it. What do you pay in taxes? Or roughly, just give me, do you have to pay in? Do you get money back? I know you got a lot of write-offs and things like that. How do you do as far as when you pay taxes and when you get them back?
Well, I got a lot of write-offs.
Yeah.
So that helps me in what I would either have to pay in or receive.
I got you. And you can leave it at that point. Generally, because what me and Shelly makes is some things that we got, the last couple of years I've had to pay in. And I know people on here that's, having to pay in. So, again, we'll just move on, going with the questions. Byron Bagwell says, yes, 6 more weeks, please, he said.
No.
You know what is messed up? The government still get their raises, but it seems like they're not concerned with the American people as long as they get there as well. I think that's what Byron and we've been preaching for the last several years as we've been doing this show. You take government officials that get elected in that you ain't even heard of, i.e., I like using her quite a bit because I know her background, AOC, Miss Cortez. You know what I'm saying? She was a bartender. She was working odd jobs. All of a sudden, the people elected her. She didn't have very much money in her account, but now she's worth over $20 million. You tell me how that happens. I don't know. You tell me how that happens. Y'all can tell me how that happens. I know how it happens.
Not bartending.
No. So they're fortifying their pockets and forgetting what the big picture is. And my buddy Byron has said this many times. You know what he said? He said, what about the American people? What are you doing for us? Now, I'm not saying everybody's bad. I'm not saying all politicians are bad, and I don't think Byron is either, because I do believe Kat Kamek, our representative, is doing a fantastic job. And by the way, David, we need to get her on a show. Me, you, and Byron need to work on getting her on a show and getting her opinion on things. She's really embedded and treading with the what's going on at the border. Yeah. Gordon's been down there. She's been down there. She's monitoring this thing. I'd like to get her opinion on that. She was on the show last week with us when the sheriff was talking. So we'd like to reach out to Kat Kamek. I think our people that are in this area would love to hear from her. She's a great person. I think she's doing a great job, and I would really love to hear from her. So we're going to reach out to her and see if we can get her on. A couple of news and notes out of Union County. Deputies arrest 6 people after months-long undercover investigation. Deputies arrest 6 people after a drug bust. Union County deputies arrested people on a property north of Rayford last Friday morning, including Wesley Lewis, 55, who officials say was a major drug dealer in the area. 3 other people were also arrested in days leading up to that drug bust after Union County deputies linked them to that investigation. So they've closed down a major drug operation there, right, and it sounds like they got the main guy. So let's see what happens. Maybe it'll stay clean for a while, because you know what happens. You shut one down, another one comes in. Yeah, it's a revolving door. It's a circular door, man. They just keep, you bust somebody down, and then all of a sudden, it stays quiet for a while, and here comes the next person.
Quiet, next. Quiet.
Yeah, well, and that's it. It's a revolving door. Drugs is something that has ruined American society and all societies all over the world. Drugs are what I want to say. Drugs are just a major. It drives you. You have to have it, and you do anything for it. Why do you think? Hey, prostitution is so high. Robberies and thievery and home break-ins and things like that, because they need money to support their habit. Drug dealers don't give it away for free. Nope. Why do you think they're drug dealers and kingpins and big-time people in the drug business? Because they make money, right?
You know how much money is being made?
A bunch.
With the smugglers smuggling through the southwest border.
Oh, yeah. You're talking Texas and over? Into Arizona, New Mexico?
Down there, mm-hmm. Smugglers have $80 billion
industry. How about that? $80 billion. Good grief. They've got underground tunnels. They've got ways to filter this in. Hey, if you want something, you can get it.
$80 billion, you can do almost anything you want to do.
Yeah. There's cartels down in Mexico and that area, and not to include Colombia because we know there's big time cartels there. These guys are making money hand over fist. Why do you think, man? Like I said, drug dealers don't give away drugs, so you got to have a fix, right? Of whatever sort. You found a way to get the money, and that's really brought society down.
How do you think it would be if that whole border was shut down?
Yeah,
That's gonna be hard to do.
but I see.
I'm just saying, you
Yeah.
know, not hard to do. I'm saying if it was shut down and we didn't let no smugglers through.
It'd be tough. They would find a way, and it may not be that big. They would find a way, but it's
go
not going to be
around
as a. Well, yeah, they circumvent it, and that's the word. They circumvent that.
Right.
So
But it would cut the use of drugs
it
in our
would.
country.
It would. It would.
put it-
Shirley's got a. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna put it this way. So in about 2 hours, give or take, 2 hours in the middle of the afternoon in California, there are about 100 people that pass over that border. Per person, per head, is about $2,000 per head. You add that up. That's just human trafficking.
Oh yeah, and I didn't even add that. Great job, great thing, Austin. Yeah, human trafficking gets involved here. So Shirley said, "Let's bring back Kat Kamek. She likes her.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too." Dwight Allen said, doubted about the city is saving money now so the people in Start pay less taxes. I don't live in Start, but my elderly parents do. He's got a point there. The loss of the civil society, Byron said. He's preached that here. That's exactly right. It's this country and the world. Let me just say it. It's gone hell in a handbasket. And it's gone to hell in a handbasket. So Shirley said that they start getting the children addicted first. And that's exactly right. You get children, and, then it feeds to adults. And that's exactly right. Once you get addicted as a child and you are not asking for help, man, it's hard to get off of, man. You watch these shows. You watch these documentaries. There is people here on those shows, man. It's like, man, you think you get them clean? Man, they got to have it. Man, that is tough to get off of. And alcoholism, that's the other thing, man. Alcoholism, you remember in the 70s to the 90s, and it's still around, but it was very prevalent, alcohol. And, all these alcoholics and people trying to go to AA to get themselves cleaned up, man. And it's hard. People will drink on, I can't think of the drug. Maybe Byron can help me out. Where it quits making you drink. They'll drink on that stuff and puke themselves up because they got to have one, man. Mm-hmm. It's really, really sad. Let's see here. They start, Dwight Allen's got a good point. He says our government is the biggest dealer, drugs and human trafficking.
Bingo.
Bingo. And it's sad. It's really sad that happens. So county took over city. Which one's land taxes are going up now? County or city? Y'all watch. One's will, and I'm gone, Dennis Cruz says. Well, we just talked about that, right? Somebody's got to pay for all this. I understand that, Gordon absorbing, the police department. But the money's has got to come from, what did he say? It took $640,000 to operate that? So that money's got to come from somewhere. The city's going to enhance some of that. But like DA, who's going to pay for that? You got to still have money for budget. And for that money, who's going to pay for it? Shirley Bagwell that lives in the city, and anybody, Judith Young, anybody that lives within the city, they're going to wind up paying those taxes to try to recoup that money back. And that is not fair to the residents of Stark and or Bradford County. People has got to sit down and balance their budget and figure out what they're going to do. Quit giving yourself raises if that's what you're doing, and the city can't, but the county can. But quit doing those kind of things and think about what it's going to cost the people and the residents of this fine county. It's good, like I said, man, there's people that can't afford this. There's people, David, that are getting food every week from food banks. and clothing banks because they're on a limited income for whatever reason. And maybe they can't go to work. You know what I mean? So they're relying on their check each and every month so they can survive. It's just a sad, sad thing, man. I tell you. I wish I had the answers, David. I got the answers. But you know what? Me, you, and Byron, and Austin, and Mitchell, we're only 5 guys. We can preach it. We can say it. But, man, it takes a bunch of us to do this. It takes everybody to get on board, man. Yeah, we know how we feel about it. But it takes people to get on board to be able to do this. We can't do it ourselves. We can put the word out there, like I said, each and every week. But, man, yeah.
We can only do so much.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Let's see. Julie Antoinette Binion is on. Judith Young is on, which I know Judith was involved with this thing that went on with she was at a lot of the meetings. A-10s armed and on go would stop all this. Absolutely it would. Shirley said, it's not hard to shut the borders down. They would still find a way to get drugs in, but not as much. And that's what I said. You were talking about an $80 billion industry. Now, okay, it may be 40, but still, that's a lot of money. But like I said, they were circumvented. There's underground tunnels everywhere that our government knows about, our Homeland Security Department knows about, our Border Patrol agents, people like that know about. But, man, you can't keep an eye on everything and all of them. Like you said, they would circumvent that in another way. No doubt about it. Ellen Disher Williams is watching. She said, watch The Sound of Freedom. Ellen, I have not seen it. I've seen previews. That is a great, great movie. By the way, Jim Caviezel did a great job in that movie. And I'll tell you, you want to see about human trafficking, watch that movie. Did it put tears to your eyes, Cheryl? It did, didn't it? Yeah, it puts tears to your eyes. Oh, that is crazy. Oh, yeah. We need to watch it, Dave. We'll watch it. Me, you, and Byron, we'll watch it. It's a great movie, and it's about human trafficking and what these people do and how they do it and how they manipulate. And it's just absolutely nuts. If I ever catch anybody or you ever catch anybody trying to snatch somebody up, I don't care if it's a grown person or a child. Hey, watch out. Hey, the wrath is coming. You know who the wrath is? Me and you. Yeah, we're not going to have that. I watched a video on Facebook talking about human trafficking, ladies and gentlemen.
This is 2024, and we're talking about human trafficking.
Yeah, and that's a shame because human trafficking is a big, big money maker, like you said, and y'all were saying, and the way they do it. But I want to tell you about this video. I wish I could find it on Facebook where we could show this. Anyway, I think this happened in Mexico, somewhere in Mexico. A girl was working an ice cream stand, had ice cream and sodas and stuff, and it was sitting on a nice area. It was sitting on an edge of a parking circle. So the little girl come up, 9 or 10, come up and said she wanted some ice cream, and the girl was paying, trying to get her stuff done. And as she was doing that, a car pulls up. The lady gets out. She starts rubbing the girl's hair, petting her hair and touching her. What was so cool, man, is the girl behind the counter seen all this, and she didn't let anything known, right? So the girl got her ice cream or whatever it was, paid the lady, and just as about that snatch is coming up, that lady walks from behind the counter, grabs this girl, and takes her off. Wow, you're talking about somebody that was on it. The girl saved her life. The girl behind the counter. She run that other girl off, that car hauls tail. I'm sure she got the license plate. The problem is with some things over there, some things are very corrupt. And what are they going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? You know how it is over in those type of countries. But that young lady, and she was probably in her early 20s, mid-20s, she saved that little girl because that little girl was about to get snatched. And the reason they caught her is because there was a camera pointing down at it. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Good night, Dwight Allen. God bless America. Absolutely. You can't legislate morality. You're right, Byron. Good night, brother. You feeling rough? He was telling Dwight that. Stacey McClellan's on. You're right, son. It has to start on the home where there's children. Absolutely. Only the ballot box can change this mess. Well, thought so. Talked about that too. Byron's talked about that many times. As long as everything is counted right and everything is on the up and up, yeah, I agree. The part of voting is the correct answer, but is now we questioning voting and counting of votes and people that are involved with that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody says that last election was rigged. And coming to find some things out, it was. I mean, I think some people wanted Trump out, and that's fine too. But I don't really think that Trump lost that election. Trump should have been reelected. He should be president right now. My opinion. Let's see. Tom Bailey's watching. Just go to the grocery store today. My heart breaks for large families. This can't continue. Charlotte was at the grocery store today. Must have seen somebody with a bunch of children, trying to buy some groceries. Probably, I guess, couldn't afford it or just barely getting it.
The price of groceries these days.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
So,
it's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse.
The trucker convoy is gonna put a dent in this one.
Mm-hmm. Teach your children the sign to do with their hands. Let's see. This is Shirley. With their hands to let someone know they need help when someone is trying to take them. Yeah, absolutely, Shirley. There is signs. There is things that they can do. But I commend that young lady for what she did. That was very awesome. It happens here in America more than you realize. Absolutely, it does. Want to get into a couple other things. What time is it, Dave, locally?
It's 8:13 p.m.
8:13 p.m. On the Eastern Seaboard. On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, right along with the dancing star, Dave Holland. And, of course, the weather guru, Austin Stevens, Mr. Byron Bagwell, feeling under the weather just a little bit. But, hey, look, we're going to be back in full force next week. And there's something that I really want to talk about. I just want to get into it just a little bit. I was telling you that there is things going on in the world today, our political, this election year. So we got that going on. The crisis that is happening at the border. Certain, things that are going on in our inner cities and it's filtered down to the counties. And then there's world things going on, too, that affect everything that happens within the United States. So you've got the Ukrainian and Russian deal thing going on. Here's North Korea over there trying to flex their muscle. China always trying to flex their muscle. And then we've got the Israeli thing going on with the Palestinians and mainly Hamas. So I do want to talk about this just a little bit. I want Byron to be here when we go into it fully, but I just want to tell you a couple of things really quick. If anybody doesn't know who Hamas is, it's an acronym of its official name. The Islamic Resistance Movement is what it is. It's a Palestinian Sunni Islamist political and military organization governing the Gaza Strip of the Israeli-occupied Palestinian territories. If you'll bring up that map, David, for me. Hezbollah they call it a political group in definition. But look, it is the most technically capable terrorist group in the world and a continued security threat to the U.S. Hezbollah is responsible for some of the deadliest terrorist attacks against Americans in history, and the U.S. has designated it as a foreign terrorist organization since 1997. They are out of Lebanon, mainly in southern Lebanon. And if you look at that map that Dave just took up right there, they're in the southern part of Lebanon, which touches the northern part of Israel. If you see right there, all that yellow is Israel. So I want to get into some things on how this all came about and how this all started. Because honestly, David, and y'all know and again, I don't want to get political here or religious because, hey, we all got our own God that we worship and that we, if you go to service, you know who you worship. And this has been going on since BC. And if you don't know what BC means, it's before Christ. This has been happening throughout many, many, many years. So I want to preface by saying, and I'm going to get into it a little bit, like I said, I want Byron to be here when we talk about this, so I'm not going to get into it again a whole bunch. But I just gave you Hamas, Hezbollah, and then there's Houthis, if you pronounce that right, out of Yemen. So there's terrorist groups and terrorist cells all around that region and all around the world. We've got, terrorist cells here in the United States from all those groups. Don't think ISIS is not dead. ISIS is still around. ISIS is out of Syria. The Taliban is still around. There's some members still of that. Al-Qaeda, there's still Al-Qaeda there. And there's many, many other groups that I didn't get all of their names. But one of the main places that house these and sends them all over the world is Jakarta, Indonesia. It has the most terrorist cells and terrorist groups out of any area in the world. So, when you start talking about this issue's been going on for a long time. And I tell you, it's getting worse and worse. And I'm surprised that this hasn't escalated before this. Yes, we've had some conflicts and some things happen over there. But the October 7th thing, and y'all stay with me here on this. Again, I'm just trying to bring you facts. You take the information that we give you and you disseminate it any way that you want, or you take it and filter it however you want. But that October 7th attack in Israel, David, and some of the research I've done, I've talked to Byron about this a little bit. First of all, let me go back and say, my buddy Amin Perez, I've known since 1998. He's an engineer, used to be an engineer over at CMC. He's an engineer over at New Millennium where I work at. We've been friends a long time. He's Palestinian. His wife, Lena Ferris, some of you guys had her for a teacher that are on this program right here or know of her. Very good teacher. All his kids went through the Bradford County School District, and every one of them, Dave, are smart as a whip. They're engineers, they're going to be doctors, things like that. So I talked to Amin about an hour yesterday, and I talked to Byron, and this is what I wanted to talk about. And I got a lot of information from him. And like I said, he's Palestinian. You can take what I'm fixing to say, and you can discuss it. You can take it how you feel about it. Again, I'm just bringing you the information. On the spot with David Rodgers, bringing you the information. So as David brings up that map. So the October 7th, according to him, and according to some things that I've seen and read, that supposedly, and you take it from any news media, puts out what you want to hear, what sells. Some of it's propaganda. You know what I mean? Some of it doesn't make any sense. So as Byron told me earlier in the show, we have to look at, the sources that we're getting our news from. And I just seen Ellen Disher-Williams state something there. And Ellen, follow me here, just real quick, okay? And I respect what you said here. Now, he said to me, and some others that I've read, said that it was a wake-up call for Israel to loosen up and do something, mainly in the Gaza Strip. If you see that right there on the Mediterranean Sea right there. So the Gaza Strip, if y'all don't know, houses, it's a 6 by 25 mile, 6 mile by 25 mile strip of land that touches Egypt, and it goes up into mid Israel. So my thing is, okay, they want to wake up world leaders. You shouldn't have, me personally, and I think people agree, shouldn't have dropped or did a terrorist attack in Israel. David, you follow me? Shouldn't have done an terrorist attack to wake up. I think that they should have reached out to the world leaders and said, hey, this is the conditions are poor, whatever the case may be, and reached out that way instead of doing what they did. And Ellen, I agree to a point right there, and yes, we'll pray for our servicemen and women. Shane, glad to have you on. Nathan Thornton, too. The attack was absolutely barbaric. Yeah, it should have never been an attack. So if you wanted to wake up the world leaders to find out what was going on in that 6 by 25 mile radius of land, which houses, David, by the way, do you know the population? Does anybody know the population out there? That is 2.3 million people that live in that little strip right there. So 6 by 25 would be like what? From here to Keystone
Airport
or airport, and then 25 miles
would be to
lengthwise.
Landing.
So
Just north of
yeah,
Camp Landing.
so that is the amount of land that 2.3 million people are living in. Do I think that's right or wrong? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that people ought to have a fair chance of living. He told me there's no work there. There's very much poverty, and there's very much a need of help. So I agree. I'm a humanitarian too. I love people, and I think people need. If you need help, yes, you should. Somebody should reach out to try to help you. But the way that was done, I don't agree with. I'd like to get your opinion on that, because we talked to Joseph Bird, and he thought the same thing. Yeah. So I mean, I agree. I agree with what Alan said. I thought it could have been handled better. Reach out to these world's leaders. Say, hey, let's meet somewhere. Let's talk about this. This land has been fought over like they were saying for years. And it's affecting everything that is going on, not only in that region, but it's affecting us as well. Because our main ally is Israel. We provide them with military weapons. We provide them military aircraft. We provide them with we help them try to defend themselves. And if you look at that map right there, David, if you look at that area, the West Bank is Palestinian, okay? So if you see the West Bank area right there, that is occupied by Palestinians, but not Hamas. The only place Hamas is in the Gaza Strip. So, and then the rest of it is occupied by Israel or the Jews, right? Mm-hmm. Let's call it like it is. So, what they're saying is that Israel is controlling the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, and it's hard to maneuver, to get through. There's checkpoints everywhere. Amin's parents used to work in Haifa, which is up there to the North Sea of David, Haifa, which you've been there before, right? Your ship pulled in there?
No.
Okay, I've been there. But anyway, Haifa is a port city that houses a lot of naval ships and ships coming in with supplies and things like that, right up there in the north corner. So, my point to this whole thing is that I don't know what we're being fed by mainstream media. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. Is what he's saying true? I think part of it is. And we'll break down next week the history of this from 1948 till now. It is a propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, news media, depending on who you're watching or what you're watching.
Exactly.
You don't know.
Hard to trust.
Yeah, it is. Do I think there's issues there? Absolutely, I do. Mm-hmm. You got to remember, Israel is sitting in the middle of a bunch of big countries: Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Saudi is down below it, Turkey is right there. They're sitting in that Middle East, Iran, Iraq, Syria, and look, they're sitting right here in the middle with really no escape route. So this is really all a security thing for Israel. And they need it because, hey, everybody now wants to jump on Israel, right? Now Iran's come on board, right? Iraq's come on board. Syria's come on. Yemen's come on board. Everybody wants to jump on Israel. Here's the problem. You got these big countries, but they're very densely populated, and they don't have enough military equipment to take on an Israel. Israel one-on-one with anybody over there, Israel wipes them off the map. And even Amin said that. So you're talking You're talking about who's now? Let's see. Hang on a minute. Let's see. Becky Knights is watching. Well, when you don't know how it's going to kill you and who's not, you have to take drastic measures. Who's and how's right? B, I got you. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. That's a security blanket for Israel because everybody wants to jump on them. They know they're the most powerful country over there in that region as far as when it comes to military. Why do you think nobody wants to jump on them? Have you seen Egypt try to do that? Oh, that cost them. You know what I mean? Back, I'm trying to remember how many years ago that was. But this piece of land, all those pieces of land have been fought over by the Jews and the Palestinians for years. And we're going to break down from 1948 on to now, me and Byron. Next week, we're going to continue this. But some of the problem, I just want to leave you with something. The reason Israel doesn't want to give control to the Palestinians and, of course, Hamas running the Gaza Strip is what Byron said, is security. If you open up that port, yes, it could be a great place because you could employ a lot of people. You know, if you open up the seaports and let them run it. The problem is what else is coming through there? Are you funneling terrorist arms, things like that? And that's why Israel is saying no. You know, because we don't know what's going to go on there. So the Israelis are patrolling all that. And the Palestinians are going, well, my gosh, man, we have no freedoms here. Well, we'll dig into that some more, and we'll tell you why. And then, of course, the West Bank, which houses Bethlehem over there, and then Jerusalem's on the other side. You know, they're like I said, that's Palestinian based too. And all this comes down to they would like to have one government, but the problem with one government with Israel and Palestine is, and I've searched the numbers, Byron, you tell me if I'm wrong here, you're on. The Palestinians outnumber the Jews. So if it came to a one government thing, or if we're going to try to do one government, because the Palestinians outnumber them in population, so when it goes to a vote, they would have more votes than the Jews and Israel. So that comes down.
If they won, would they be fair to the Jews?
Correct. So it's a back and forth thing. And man, believe you me, I don't know the answer, but something's got to happen because this could escalate to a bigger thing than what it is. I know they're in peace talks right now. And hopefully something happens. I know they're in peace talks with the world leaders and United Nations and things like that to try to get this resolved. But, man, I tell you, it's a mess over there. And we'll break down some more next week on how this affects us.
All these little countries surrounding Israel. And if they all could just kind of be like America.
Yes.
We got 50 little countries in this massive land.
Mm-hmm.
They're called states.
Correct. Right. No, you're exactly right. It is called states.
They're called states.
Yeah.
But if you look at it like 50 little countries living in this massive land, if we didn't agree, there would be wars everywhere.
Right. It'd be chaos.
Total
It'd be
chaos.
chaotic.
Why can't they do something like that?
And I agree. I want to get to Ellen's deal. And thank you, Ellen, for coming on.
It's
great to have a... Well, it filters into religion and everything about it. She says, and Hamas hides in Gaza. No, they don't hide in Gaza. They run. Gaza runs Hamas runs the Gaza Strip. Yeah. That's why this conflict is going on. The average Palestinian person is not in control there. There is no government. It's run by... Look, man, you got to call it what it is. It's a terroristic, and it's been labeled that entity, and they run that Gaza Strip. I wonder how many Palestinians, honestly, really want this. I know my buddy does it. My buddy would like to figure out a way to, to resolve this. He told me that when he lived, I forgot where he said. Oh, he's from Nebula, Dave. Can you put that out? It's right here. Right there. See Nebula right there, David? That's where he was born and raised. His mama and daddy used to travel to Haifa to go to work. So you can see the little drive. He said it's about 40 miles. But he said back there, if you'll slide it, slide the West Bank over, Nebulous, right there. So that's where he's from. The West Bank, which is Palestinian dominated and controlled. But he said that his mom and dad used to have a farm there, and they were friends and worked with some of the Jewish people. Even though sometimes, things wasn't going right, but they got along. You see what I'm saying, David? Right now, nobody's getting along in that region. And Byron's got a point, too. They want conflict, not necessarily the average Muslim, but the terrorists want to provoke Israel into action. See the pattern over so many years on certain dates. And we were talking about that, 1948. We'll get into all that next week. But I wanted to give you just a little bit of history, and me and Byron will go into it a little bit more next week. This conflict right here has got the whole Middle East region on their toes. Don't know what's going to happen next.
Oh, boy.
Who's Israel going to hit next? Who's going to try to attack Israel? Who's gathering up together to try to fight Israel? And this could get very ugly very quickly. Just like the Russian-Ukraine thing did, David, boy, did it escalate quick. It's become a full-blown war now.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much that way. I know they're hitting things here and there, and I know most times when you're trying to get rid of a terrorist cell or anything that's dealing with terroristic things, usually airstrikes. You know what I mean? And that way, you lessen these civilian casualties that will happen there. But we're going to get more into that. And Byron's right, but I want to thank y'all guys for joining the show. What time is it, David?
It's
8:30?
Yep,
Is it 8:30?
8:34.
You mean old loudmouth Dave's been talking for an hour and a half?
You've been going at it, brother.
I guess, huh? Well, anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching the show. I do got a couple of things, some nice things, before Austin gives the weather report.
Hey.
This week, Ken, me and Dave Holland Jr. and Shelley and Autumn and Shirley and Donnie. Guess where we're going, Dave? You want to tell them?
We're going to
The Chamber?
Charlie John's
Yes.
Convention
Center.
and we're going to celebrate with all the business owners and members of the Chamber of Commerce.
That's exactly right. We're going to the Chamber of Commerce dinner. We're going to be there. And if I don't know if there's any tables left, but if there may be some spots here and there, if you want to go for a great cause, all that money they raise, David, goes to the North Florida Educational Foundation, which is schools and things like that. And
Yes.
I think that is awesome. So if you want to go, hey, you can wear whatever you want to wear. Just get a hold of Pam Whittle at the Chamber of Commerce and see if there's an opening at a table, and you ought to go. We have a great time. They're going to have a band there this year.
Yep.
Good eats. Hey, good fellowship. They're going to have a raffle. I mean, maybe an auction. I think it's going to be an auction. It ought to be a great time, David. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Pass out trophies or...
Well, yeah. We're going to get the business, large business of the year, small business of the year, citizen of the year, and maybe volunteer of the year. They may have gotten one of them, but we'll get to hear who that is. And so that ought to be really, really good. What else, Dave, is going on?
I have something.
You have something going on? Tell us what's going on.
All right, so I just shared it on Austin's Weather Service. U.S. National Weather Service Jacksonville, Florida is holding a storm spotter training. It is open to the public in Baker County at the EOC in McClinney starting at 10 a.m. next Tuesday.
Starting at 10 a.m. next Tuesday. If you want to be a weather spotter, hey, go to that. It ought to be good. Are they serving food?
I don't know about serving food, but I know it's I heard from a lot of people that they teach people on radar education on
Right.
how to spot storms, with the crazy weather we've been having in Florida with the tornadoes and the Panhandle the last while, I think it just some people might want to dust up on their knowledge.
There you go. Austin.
Especially if you're trying to go into the EOC for anything, that's a good ticket to have.
Well, I'll tell you what, Austin, you had me and Dave talking into going, but when you said there was no food there, I'm not going.
That's my choice.
Yeah, my choice, man. Hey, I'm a big boy, Austin. I like to eat. So if there's no food there, you need to find out if there's food there. If there's food there, I'll go. Will they have sandwiches?
Well, I'm sorry.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that you're making.
Maybe Austin Webster's might fund your food.
All right, peanut butter and jelly?
Maybe something better.
Can you make those? I know you can. I know you eat a lot of them. Charlie said that will be so much fun. Absolutely, it will be. So those are some of the things that are going on. Of course, Super Bowl's coming up. Who's your pick? Dave, real quick. Who's your pick? San Francisco or Kansas City? Who you like? I wanted Detroit, but they didn't.
Yeah. I don't really have a pick, but if I have to, I'd say San Francisco.
San Francisco. What about it, Austin?
I'm not a Swiftie, so I'm going 49ers.
You're going 49ers. I'm going 49ers too, but Patrick Mahomes will probably figure out a way to get this done. David, any final... Austin, real quick with the weather. Real quick.
All right, so we got a low pressure system that will be moving through the Gulf of Mexico, developing in Texas, moving through, bringing some rain to Florida and the rest of the East Coast this upcoming weekend. Otherwise, between now and Saturday, it should be good across Florida, pretty decent. And then next week, we got more decent weather, just like California.
All right, just like California. And what did you think about the... I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting something up. Dave, I thought this was a clip, but I guess it isn't, huh? We'll just leave it sit here. That's all right. We'll just leave it sit here.
He's organizing chaos.
So I was trying to, organizing chaos. So anyway, let's see. Byron says, Dave Allen Jr. Question. Good night, fellas. Byron says 49ers. Udi says 49ers. Mark Udi says, or the Kansas City Swifts, as my man there, Austin, just said.
I started that one, so now I know it's going to start.
Hey, Byron, me, you, and Dave need to talk, maybe Austin too. Maybe we need to come up with like a little pool, David, on picks next week because, the Super Bowl's not this weekend coming up, but it's the following. So maybe this next Tuesday night, we can come up with a pick thing and we write everybody's name down on the pick and maybe a score or total points. And we can give the winner, we can give a $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill.
So it's also being played, the Super Bowl is being played in Las Vegas, Nevada.
It is being played in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that's exactly right, Austin. And somebody just said that on the feed there. But it ought to be a really good football game. It ought to be interesting. But we'll come up with something, Dave. What do you think?
I think so.
All right. Do you have any fat fingers I got, Dave Arlington?
I just want to say congratulations to my niece in Ohio. She's just started barber college.
All right. Dave's niece, give a round of applause or just say good job to Dave's niece as she's starting barber school.
Yeah.
So, again, David, I don't have anything. Byron, do you have anything? It was a great show. Only if I get in the drawing, Byron said. Yeah, we'll get in the drawing. If our names are drawn, Byron, no, we can't win. Oops. So there we go. Whoops. So, yeah, we'll do that. We'll put our names in the hat there. Thank you. It was a great show tonight, man.
Great
it's 8:40 Eastern. I wanted to get in that Israel some more, and me and Byron will break down some dates and things like that. I really didn't want to do it without Byron because he's knowledgeable about this as well. And we'll break this down for you on how this occurred, why this is occurring, and how it's affecting not only the Middle East countries there or the Middle East region, and also us as well. So, again, David, it was a great show. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys make this show happen. We don't. We just sit here and run our mouth a couple of times here and there. Y'all got some great questions and great comments. Really appreciate you guys. We're planning on being back next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Same bat time, same bat channel. The DOR, the Defenders of the Republic. And Austin, the new high priest of the Church of the Painful Truth, is who we are. Hey, thank you, Neil Bortz, right, for that. And again, thank you for tuning in. I want you to have a great night, a great rest of the week, a great weekend. Me and Dave's got a little thing, and Byron and Shirley, we got that chamber banquet to go to.
Yep.
We'll announce the winners too. We'll, next show.
Thursday night.
Or Tuesday night. Well, Thursday night we got the grill trivia. So we got trivia. Thursday. That's Thursday night. So you got to come to Thursday night team trivia for that. And then, of course, Saturday will be. No, I'm talking about the winners of the awards. We can announce them here, or you can put them on there, and we can read off who won what.
Yeah.
We definitely want to do that. We'll find out how much money they earned as well. And then, of course, we'll start the week again next week, and Tuesday night we'll be back with On the Spot with David Rodgers. Hopefully have my man, the Byron Bagwell, our brother. Hopefully have you, David. I'm sure we should. Hope to have Austin. Austin, you got anything going on?
As long as Mother Nature don't chase me around, we're good.
All right, as long as Mother Nature don't chase him around, because Austin's first and foremost thing is to keep everybody updated with the weather. That's what he does. May think it's silly or not. That's what he does. And I tell you, got a lot.
Eventually out in Texas, I don't go chasing tornadoes.
Well, there you go. So, you got your own website, you got your own page. You do a good job with the weather. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. And don't worry about what anybody else thinks. You just keep doing your thing, all right?
I always do.
All right. And don't forget my YouTube.
Gordon sasses me.
Gordon, yeah, sometimes. But anyway, he's a good dude, man. We love him. So, let's see. Only if I get in the drawing. Yes, Byron. He said, Fat Boy got to eat too. And Shirley Bagwell said, great show. And we really appreciate it. It was a good show. Wish I'd had my brother with me, but that's okay. Hey, that's okay, because we'll have him back next Tuesday.
Yeah.
David, on behalf of yourself, Mr. Austin Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell Gunner, on the Spot Motorsports Media page. Don't forget that show at 7 with Madison Payne, and myself, David Rodgers, and the Missing Byron Bagwell. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Have a great rest of the week. And we'll talk to you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. God bless you guys. Have a great night.